This is the demonstration video for the blueberry oatmeal pancakes. Your cooking principles are as follows. 1. The muffin method of mixing. Pancakes are mixed with the muffin method. The muffin method consists of 3 steps. Step 1. We sift all our dry ingredients together. Step 2. We combine all our liquid ingredients together. And step 3. We make a well in the dry ingredients and add the liquids in all at once. Cooking principle number 2. Type of quick bread, quick and easy to make. Rises quickly because it uses baking powder to rise and not yeast. Leavening agents are ingredients that cause our products to rise. Baking powder is the leavening agent most frequently used in flour mixtures. It is a commercially prepared leavening agent made from an acid and a salt form, soda, which is usually sodium bicarbonate, and starch, which is usually cornstarch. When mixed with a liquid, they create carbon dioxide gas, which will cause our muffins to rise. Baking soda will act as a leavening agent when it's combined with another acidic substance, such as buttermilk or sour cream, vinegar, or even cream retarder. When it's combined with one of these ingredients, it too will also produce carbon dioxide gas that will help raise our flour mixture. Cooking principle number 3. Pancakes are an example of a pour batter. This describes the consistency of the pancake mixture before it is cooked in a frying pan. The batter is thin enough to be poured from a bowl or liquid measure. The reason why the mixture is this consistency is because there is approximately 1 part liquid ingredients to 1 part dry ingredients. Nutrition. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are responsible for supplying the body with energy, sparing protein, and assisting the utilization of fats. Protein. It is essential for building muscle, repairing all types of body tissue, regulating body processes, forming antibodies to fight infection, and supplying your body with energy. Fat. Fat helps protect your body and insulate body parts such as major organs, supplies energy to your whole body, transports fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, and supplies your body with essential fatty acids needed for functioning. Fiber. A high-fiber diet is important. Fiber normalizes bowel movements. It helps maintain bowel health by reducing your risk at colon cancers. It lowers cholesterol levels by reducing blood pressure and inflammation. It helps control blood sugar as fiber foods slowly absorb into the blood than other foods. It also will reduce your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. It helps achieve healthy weight as high fiber foods make you feel full for longer. And it's been proven to help you live longer as it reduces the risk of dying from cardiovascular diseases. Calcium. Calcium is responsible for forming strong bones and teeth and maintaining and repairing the skeleton, maintaining muscle, tone, normal heartbeat, and healthy nerve functions, and aiding normal blood clotting. Manganese. Manganese is responsible for helping the body form connective tissue, bones, blood clotting, and also plays a significant role for normal brain and nerve functioning. Vitamin B. B vitamins help the body turn carbohydrates into energy, help with normal growth and development of the body, maintain good appetite and normal digestion, and is essential for the proper functioning of your nervous system. Ingredients. 190 milliliters rolled oats. Oats will add a chewy texture to our pancakes today, but they're also full of great nutrition such as carbohydrates, fiber, and B vitamins. 250 milliliters of milk. Milk is the liquid needed to moisten our dry ingredients and start the gluten formation in our flour. It's necessary to release the carbon dioxide from our baking powder. It will produce steam, which will also help act as a leavener, and finally will help soften up our oats so that they're a little bit more palatable in our pancake. 65 milliliters of whole wheat flour. Whole wheat flour will also add to the structure of our pancake today. but because it is a whole grain, we'll add extra nutrition as well and a nutty flavor. 65 milliliters of all-purpose flour. Flour helps add to the structure of our product, especially when mixed with a liquid and gluten is produced. Gluten, therefore, becomes a mesh-like structure that helps entrap the gases formed by our leavening agent, creating our final height of our product. 7 milliliters of brown sugar. Brown sugar sweetens our pancake, helps tenderize its final structure, will produce the golden brown color when it's finally cooked, and will also add flavor due to the molasses content in the brown sugar. 7 milliliters baking powder. Baking powder is a leavening agent that when combined with a liquid will help produce the carbon dioxide gas needed to leaven our pancake. 1 milliliter salt. Salt enhances natural flavors found within any baking product. Today, our pancakes feature not only blueberries, but vanilla and cinnamon as well. The salt will help make them a little bit more prominent in the batter. 1 milliliter of cinnamon. Cinnamon is a dried spice that comes from the inner bark of a tree. It doesn't usually have a sweet taste, but tends to amplify the sweetness in other ingredients and adds a depth of flavor to any recipe it's added to. 1 large egg. Egg contributes to the nutrition of the mixture, but also is known as an emulsifier. An emulsifier will bind two unlikely products together, such as the milk and the oil. 30 milliliters of oil. Oil, which is fat, will tend to make any baking product tender and more moist. This will not only add to the texture, but our final flavor as well. 1 milliliter vanilla. Vanilla comes from a special species of orchids. It will add a nice complementing flavor to our cinnamon and our blueberries in our pancakes today. 125 milliliters of blueberries. Blueberries is our main fruit flavor today. It will add vitamin A and C and many antioxidants to our nutrition profile, and it happens to be a local plant grown here in British Columbia. Fruit for garnishing. This is optional. Our blueberry oatmeal pancakes work well with any types of fruit, such as sliced bananas or cut up strawberries. Not only will it add a splash of color to your plate, but extra nutrition as well. Syrup or yogurt. This is optional. If you're feeling like your pancakes aren't sweet enough, you can always add one of these two toppers to your dish. This is all the ingredients needed for our blueberry oatmeal pancakes. Equipment. For this recipe, you will need measuring equipment, including dry measures, a liquid measure, and small measures. Metal spatula, custard cups, a metal spoon, rubber spatula, metal pie plate, a sieve, small mixing bowl, medium mixing bowl, large mixing bowl, a metal fork, wooden spoon, frying pan, lifter, cookie sheet, oven mitts, hot mat, a cutting board, and finally, paring knife. Method. Bachette stands for the beginning steps that you need to do at the start of your lab. B stands for books and bags. They should be away either at the back of the classroom or under your table. A stands for apron, which you need to put on to help protect your clothing. S stands for sleeves. You need to roll them up past your elbows. H stands for long hair that touches the shoulders that needs to be tied back, or hats that need to be removed. C stands for chairs that should be tucked under your table and out of your way. H stands for hands that should be washed properly for 30 seconds using hot water and soap. E stands for equipment, which you should be getting out as quickly as possible. without wasting time. And T stands for the towels that you need to pick up. You need at least 2 dishcloths and 2 tea towels. Step 1. Use oven racks number 3. Preheat oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 90 degrees Celsius. Use to keep pancakes warm. To turn on our oven, hit the bake button, and this time use the down arrow to select the desired temperature. It is actually a very low temperature. We're only keeping our pancakes warm, not cooking them. Step 2. Season frying pan with about 15 milliliters oil. Heat slowly. Or use a non-stick frying pan. Do not need to season. Spread oil evenly on low heat. Heat slowly for even heat distribution. Wipe up excess oil with a paper towel. Now these frying pans found within your unit work really well for pancakes. It is very important that we get every side and bottom area covered in oil, but not too much, as pancakes tend to soak up the oil as they're cooking. So using a paper towel, I'm going to help rub and spread the oil all over in a thin coat. Then I'll move it to the stove to slowly heat up and bake that oil onto the frying pan so it has a nice non-stick surface for our pancakes to cook on. Step 3. In a medium bowl, blend rolled oats and milk. Let it stand 5 minutes. Oats absorb moisture and softens. When cooking with rolled oats, it often gives a more crunchy and tougher texture. Soaking not only softens the oats, makes them more tender, but makes it easier for it to quickly cook and easier to digest. This also provides a fluffy, more creamier texture in the pancake. It's really important we do this step early because pancakes often only cook a few minutes aside, and we want the oats to be as soft as possible before hitting that frying pan. And when you're done, make sure you give it a quick stir with a spoon, making sure that every single oat has been in contact with the liquid and not floating on top. Put this bowl off to the side and let's move on to our next steps. Step number 4. On a pie plate, sift all-purpose flour, measure, and sift again into a large bowl. Sifting adds air and gets rid of lumps. We sift flour for 2 reasons. Our first reason is we're going to remove any lumps found within our flour. Because we live on the west coast of Canada, right by the ocean, we tend to have a lot of moisture in our air and it lumps our flour. So we don't want to have that in our final baking product. So if we remove it now, we're making sure that our baking product has a nice even texture on the inside. The other thing we do to sift flour is we're adding in air. Air is so important to baked products because air pockets allow for the liquids to heat up and create steam, and the steam pushes through, allowing it to rise. That's why it's called a secondary leavening agent. Baking powder typically is our main one. Now, as you remeasure your flour, you're going to notice that the air has replaced some of the volume and your measuring cup is full even though you leveled it off, but there's still flour remaining in the pie plate below. That's because that's how much air we have replaced. Total volume of the air has made it so that we don't need all this flour anymore. This flour has been clean and untouched, so we can put it back into our bucket and put it back into our unit to use for later. Then what we want to do is re-sift the flour into a large bowl. That way we can really maximize how much air we've added to the flour. Again, the more air pockets we add in, the better it is for our final baking product's texture overall. And we want it light, airy, and fluffy. Step 5. Lightly stir in the remaining dry ingredients: whole wheat flour, brown sugar, baking powder, salt, and cinnamon. Steps 4 and 5, first step of the muffin method. Baking powder with a liquid and heat produces carbon dioxide, primary leavener. When gathering all your dry ingredients together, measuring accurately is really key. One thing that we need to make sure we measure properly is our brown sugar. Make sure you press it into the small measures and pack it so that we get rid of as much air out of the brown sugar as possible. Then, when you're about to stir, make sure you're using a wooden spoon to gently combine all your ingredients together. Remember, your mixture still has air in it, and if you stir too hard, you will deflate the flour, making all that sifting we did earlier useless. Step 6. With a fork, beat egg in a small bowl. Add oil and vanilla. Egg is an emulsifier if both yolk and egg white is used. When you go to crack the egg, crack beside the bowl on the counter, not on the edge of the bowl. That way eggshell won't go flying into the bowl. No one wants to eat a pancake with little bits of eggshell. Really whip it well and combine both the egg yolk and white together. This is going to be the best to have our emulsifying properties work, as most of that happens within the yolk. Then we're going to measure our fat and our vanilla, and when we do this, we're going to measure beside the bowl, not over top of it. That way we don't accidentally spill in extra, causing our measurements to be off. Once you have all your liquids together, again, we're going to use a fork and whip them all together, combining the oil and the egg. You should be able to see it not separating by the time you're done. Step 7. Add liquid mixture to oats, stirring until combined. Step 6 and 7, second step of the muffin method. Mix together all liquid ingredients. So grab your bowl from earlier that had our oats soaking in the milk, and hopefully it's been about 5 minutes. If it's been longer, that's okay too. The longer they have in the milk, the softer they'll be. Use a rubber spatula to help scrape out the bowl and put all the egg mixture into the oat mixture. Really give it a good stir. Now remember, even though water, in this case the milk, and oil don't mix, thanks to the emulsifying properties of the egg, it will combine together. So once you finish giving it a really good stir, you should not see any oil floating and separating up to the top. It should stay really well combined together. Step 8. Make a well in the dry ingredients. Pour liquids into the well all at once. Stir just until the dry is moistened and no dry spots remain. The batter will be very thick. Do not overmix. Batter should look lumpy. Third step of the muffin method. Do not mix because gluten will become tough and result in pancakes with tunnels, peaks, compact, dense pancakes, and toughness. When we say make a well, what we really mean is to dig a hole in the middle of the flour. So using the wooden spoon, do that gently and push all the flour to the side. Then pour the liquid mixture all at once. Use that rubber spatula to really make sure you scrape all of it into the bowl. This is the only method that tends to do this. Most of our other methods, such as the biscuit method, only lets you add milk a little at a time, and sometimes you don't even use it all. Now, using a wooden spoon, because it's gentle on our mixture, we're going to gently combine both the dry and liquids together. We're not going fast because fast agitation will activate the gluten too much, causing all those tunnels and peaks to form in our final product. We just want to go until we see no more dry flour, everything's combined, our batter looks super lumpy and thick still, and that is the perfect pancake batter. Step 9. Cook on ungreased but well-seasoned frying pan. Test with drops of water to see if pan is hot enough. Should sizzle. Let's test to see if our frying pan is hot enough. I have a little bit of cold water on the ends of my fingertips. If I flick it, I should hear a sizzle sound. My pan is hot enough, which means my pancakes won't stick to it while I'm cooking, and we're good to go. Step 10. Add batter in 50 milliliter amounts. Put blueberries on immediately. Cook until bubbles rise to the top and begin to break. Flip only once and cook until golden brown. Pancakes will be heavy if turned more than once. Structure collapses. So I'm going to use a 50 ml dry measure to help me control how much batter each pancake has. That way I know they're roughly the same size and I should equal about 2 per person. Once the pancake batter's on the pan, then you can put your blueberries in the top. I'm using frozen blueberries because I tend to find that if I use fresh ones, they pop in the pan too much and leave too much juice behind. Also, frozen ones won't dye my pancake batter. Now, as I'm cooking, what you're going to see is bubbles slowly rising to the top of the pancake. And as they do, when they start to pop, I know I'm probably getting ready to flip. Also, what you can see is the edges around the pancake are starting to dry. That's also a good sign showing that we're almost ready to flip. Look at all those bubbles. Carefully use a lifter, and if you want, you can check to see if the bottom's golden brown, and if it is, go ahead and flip. There we go. What a lovely color those turned out to be. If there was any extra oil in the pan, your pancake might have soaked it up a little bit. Just remember, try to make sure you took a paper towel and try to absorb as much as you can before the first bit of batter goes into the pan. Allow these to cook for a few more minutes, and then you'll transfer them over to a cookie sheet and then start again. Remember, If you transfer them too early, they'll be raw in the middle. You need to make sure you give each side the same amount of time to fully cook through. Remember, you can always peek and then see if they're done. Now, in between, I like to wipe the pan with a slightly damp dishcloth. That way I can remove any blueberry juice that might be on the bottom of the pan, so that way my next batch won't be stained. Here I am using the 50 milliliter dry measure again to pour the next batch of pancakes into the pan. Remember to top with your blueberries as soon as you can. Also, the reason why I like frozen ones, they don't dye your hands blue, which is always sometimes tough to remove. This batch, you can tell the batter's still spreading and they're going to touch. So try to keep them separated a little bit. It'll make it easier for flipping. Again, you'll see bubbles rising to the top. And when you think you're ready, give it a peek underneath and flip. Look at that golden brown color. There we go, the perfect pancake. Keep cooking until all the batter is used up. Step 11, keep warm in oven in single layers until ready to serve. So as my pancakes are finishing up, I'm transferring them over to a cookie sheet and popping them into the oven that we had already preheated at 200 degrees. Make sure you leave plenty of room for your pancakes. I know I kind of threw them on randomly during my demonstration and I had to move them around, and the blueberry juice sort of got all over the bottom of the cookie sheet. Not a problem, it will wash off, but this is how many you should have, about 8 when we're done. Step 12, garnish with fruit such as sliced banana and or strawberries, optional. Can serve with a side of mixed berries and or yogurt. Let's cut up our fruits. Now I'm going to put a damp dishcloth down and then my cutting board so it doesn't slip and slide. I'm going to use a paring knife today because these are small and soft fruits. I'm going to start by cutting off the green tops off the strawberry, and then slowly, and being mindful of where my fingers are, slice across the strawberry in equal widths. Once I have them all chopped up, I'm going to transfer them over to a custard cup and save for garnishing on my plate later. Then I'm going to wash off my cutting board and get it ready for my banana. Now I'm going to peel starting at the wrong end, not the stem end. It's how the monkeys usually peel bananas. Seems to work for them. It makes it very easy. And then using my paring knife, again, I'm going to cut along the banana in equal widths. Make sure that you're mindful of where your fingertips are. Then, once you're ready to plate your pancakes, grab out one of our luncheon plates, and you can put the 2 pancakes down per person and garnish on top with some of the strawberries you cut up, bananas, or any of the other fruits you might have brought in. Make sure you save enough for all the group members to enjoy. Don't forget about presentation and color, as well as trying to make sure everyone enjoys their dish. You can always top it off with a little maple syrup or yogurt if you have it, and enjoy. This recipe yields 4 to 8 medium-sized pancakes, groups of 3, 5 to 10 medium-sized pancakes. Tests for doneness. 1. Pancakes separates from the pan easily. 2. Bubbles pop and stay open, and the edges of the pancake look dry. 3. Golden brown color. 'Standards. 1. Light and fluffy. This shows that you incorporated a lot of air into your beginning of your mixture by sifting your flour, as well as you didn't flip your pancake too many times, keeping the texture nice and light and not compacting. 2. Small grain. This shows that you didn't over-mix your batter, causing the gluten to be developed too much, causing large tunnels and air holes to be formed in the pancake. It should be very compact grain, no giant tunnels. 3. Lightly brown. It's important that you cook both sides of the pancake until you see that lovely golden brown color. If it looks too dark, you've burnt it. So keep an eye on your temperature. Low and slow can be the order of the day. 4. No crusty edges. Pancakes that are often left on a frying pan longer than they need to be will dry out completely, making the edges very hard, tough, and chewy. 5. Not raw inside. that you cooked your pancake for equal amount of time on both sides, and that your pan wasn't too hot, causing you to accidentally flip it too early, making it raw in the middle. 6. Nice shape. You made sure that the same amount of batter was in every single pancake. They have a lovely circular shape and they're all uniform in size, and you didn't end up with one that is too big or too small. These are all the standards for the blueberry oatmeal pancakes. Let's take a look at my demonstration. Here's one of my pancakes that I cooked up. It has a nice circular shape because I made sure the batter spread evenly in the pan. You can see the color on top is a lovely shade of golden brown. And if I flip it over, that golden brown color is still on the bottom too, meaning I took a nice time to cook. It has a really great thickness to my pancake. That means my baking powder reaction was really working today in the pan. Also, you can see the edges aren't dry, and again, it has a really great kind of spring to it. Now we're going to cut it open and take a look at the inside texture. Inside, I see a small, even crumb and grain. I don't see giant gluten tunnels in my pancake at all, which means I didn't overmix it. And that's a good sign. These blueberry oatmeal pancakes are a great way to demonstrate your ability to use the muffin method of mixing. It also is a great way to add extra nutrition into a normal breakfast food that usually would be full of simple carbohydrates. I hope you enjoyed making them as much as I did. Happy cooking, and thanks for watching.